It's a strange world when something as humble as the Toyota Camry costs half a crore rupees. Yes, that's correct. This new 2022 model that you see here comes in at rupees 51.45 lakhs on road. Now, one might argue that it's a lot of money for a mid-sized sedan that doesn't come with 4 rings or a 3-pointed star on its grille. But then again, even at that price, the Camry is a lot of car and it still makes for a rational buy, particularly for this one reason. And it's this, the rear seat accommodation and the overall comfort levels, which seem to have gotten even better in this 2022 model. What about the rest of the car though? Well, like before, the new Camry can be had only as a hybrid, and that, if you ask us, makes for an attractive proposition. Here's what has changed and how. In the overall scheme of things, the Camry's appearance is more or less the same as it was in 2019 when this new model was launched in India. There are, however, some changes to the front bumper, the upper and lower grille to make the whole front look more upmarket. Toyota, it seems, wanted to make the Camry look more youthful and lively because it's got certain design elements that are very un-Toyota, if you ask me. Things like the black detailing for the taillights and the sharp 18-inch alloy wheels with the dual-tone finish. Then there's the dark grey metallic color, which is new for the 2022 model. It looks smashing and it amplifies the Camry's surprisingly aggressive stance. Step inside and you'll come across a quintessentially modern Japanese design for everything. The minimalistic look for the dash is the same as before, and the rather unusual Y-shaped center portion not only looks great but also works as a strong divider between the driver's cockpit and the rest of the cabin. What's completely new in terms of design is the new floating arrangement for the 9-inch infotainment display that now sits on top of the dash for better viewing on the move. There are, however, some hard plastics on the dash and across the door pads, which detract from what is otherwise a very plush cabin. We are also not fans of Toyota's stock user interface for the infotainment system. What's more, the UI and fonts for the infotainment system and the MID are far from slick and not what you would expect at this price point. Fortunately, this 2022 update has brought along Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you can easily switch over to either and not deal with the stock UI. Space up front is good with lots of knee room and thigh support, although what's even more impressive is how easy the Camry is to drive in traffic thanks to the large glass area, door-mounted wing mirrors and slim A-pillars which hardly block your view. That said, the Camry comes into its own when we talk rear seat comfort, which is among the best in any entry-level luxury sedan. Both the backrest and the seat base are extremely supportive with perfect cushioning, giving the rear bench an armchair-like feel to it. Those at the back also get treated with sunblinds for the side windows and the rear glass, electric recline function for the backrest and a touch-sensitive control panel for the audio system and AC. It's these reclining seats that make the Camry such a great long-distance car. In terms of features, Toyota hasn't cut any corners. You get ventilated and electrically adjustable front seats, tilt and telescopic adjustments for the steering, which is also electric, a 3-zone climate control, wireless charging pad, heads-up display, and of course reclining rear seats and audio AC controls on the rear armrest. As for safety, you have as many as 9 airbags, ESP, traction control, a tire pressure monitoring system, and parking sensors at the front and rear. Now, we would have liked better visuals for the reversing camera, and while we are at it, a proper 360-degree view. That would have made the job of parking this huge sedan that little bit easier. The Camry Hybrid gets a 2.5-litre engine that makes around 176 bhp of power and 221 Nm of torque. Now, this 4-cylinder engine is partially assisted by an electric motor that takes the combined power output to around 220 bhp. Not earth-shattering by any means, but it's enough to make quick progress in day-to-day driving conditions. Speaking of which, in the city, the Camry Hybrid gets up to speed in a very smooth manner. You have a dedicated EV driving mode which allows you to move forward using electric power alone. However, the battery can run the car for a kilometer or so before it's out of juice. It works best in stop-and-go traffic wherein you tend to spend a lot of time without covering a whole lot of distance. With both the motors working together, performance overall is strong and the process in which the petrol engine kicks in and takes over is also extremely seamless every time. Now for the all-important ride quality, the Camry Hybrid behaves in a typical luxury car way. Soft, cushy, and insulated at slow speeds, but a little wallowy over highways, especially over dips and long undulations. The new Camry Hybrid makes for a rational buy considering how fuel efficient and comfortable it is in the real world. It's no longer plain or old-fashioned, and even at the price it's sold at, it's good value. Sure, it's dull to drive and that's still a drawback, but then you cannot truly fault the rear seat or the overall comfort levels that the Camry has to offer. All in all, there is no denying that the new Camry's classy exterior, cabin comfort and hybrid efficiency would appeal to many. That's it from us for this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it and do consider subscribing to our channel for more luxury car content.